helps keep you focused, and it helps orient you in terms of what the purpose behind your book. So those are just two tips. One, raise your belief level by seeing what other people have done. Go to bookmarket.com. The other is just start writing. Don't worry about format. Don't worry about spelling or putting the book together, but just get your ideas out from your mind onto digital form. And then eventually, later on, you can start copying and pasting and reorganizing and formatting and spell checking and that sort of thing.
Give us the website again where people can go to read these success stories that you mentioned.
There are many online, but one that sticks in my memory is bookmarket.com. bookmarket.com.
All right, and when we come back, I'd like to hear your thoughts more on how technology has influenced or is influenced by literature, as well as some of your other thoughts on literature and culture. And we'll be back with Walt Goodridge right after this. Welcome back to your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and I'm speaking with author Walt Goodridge. Walt, let's talk a bit about technology and writing. You've written a number of blogs, your most recent one being Jamaican in China. And is blogging really a form of literature?
Let's see. Well, to paraphrase former President Bill Clinton, it depends on how you define literature. So that's an inside joke. Yes, I believe it is. And as a blogger, you know, there are lots of people, myself included, who have turned their blogs into books. There are many people who've discovered blogging who have used it as a stepping stone to becoming full-fledged writers. So what I have found myself in blogging is that it has helped me find, you know, that elusive blog voice, it's called. You start to get comfortable with how you communicate, what it is you want to say, how your personality gets transmitted, you know, in your blog. So yes, I believe that any form of communication can be literature. I might have to rethink that, and you might have to have me back to defend that position. But yeah, any form of communication, including blogging, is literature, if done correctly.
Let's take a step back and let's define what is blogging exactly.
Oh, alrighty. Blogging is exposing your personal, private thoughts and diary for an international audience of billions of people
over the internet.
Over the internet. There are many blog sites that allow you to set up what's called basically blog is short for weblog, and it's just shortened to blog.
Oh, okay.
And it's a way for you to. It's generally done in a diary-type format where you can get up one morning and on Sunday, May 29th, you start to write your thoughts for the day. Today I got up and I did an interview with Catherine Perry. It went well, and I felt like a superstar, and that was my day. And then tomorrow you get up and write, you know, this morning I went jogging on the beach, and this. So a lot of people use it for any number of things, whether it's to communicate, have their loved ones overseas keep in touch with what they're doing, or whether it's just to detail what their lives are like on a daily basis. So people use it for the most minute stuff to politics and religion. So there are blogs about any passion that an individual can have, and blogging is simply sharing your thoughts with the world on a format that has become popular in a sort of diary type format.
How would you say your blogging, since you got here in the Northern Marianas, has connected you to others?
All right. The most visible example of that would simply be the Jamaican in China blog. I took a 6-month trip to China recently, and in the process of doing so, I chronicled my exploits and people I met, the things I did, the stuff I ate, and as a result of that, I've met people from all over the world who've chanced upon my blog and made friends and got places to stay when I traveled to various cities across China. So it put my personal day-to-day life out in public for people to experience, and as a result, I had people email me and say, "Wow, I'd love to be doing what you're doing," or I'm strangers who say, "Hey, I'm Jamaican too. I'm going to be in Kunming, and next week maybe we can meet. So just as a way of meeting people, a way of sharing my story to inspire others, it's been a tremendous experience.
Definitely an advantage here in the islands where we're kind of cut off from the rest of the world. It's great to be online and communicating, making friendships and whatnot via blogs. I understand you published a book.
Yes.
Based on your experience in China called the Coffeepot Cookbook.
The Coffeepot Cookbook, yes.
Number one, first of all, congratulations on yet another publication.
Right.
How did this book evolve? Because it looks like it's quite a fun book to read and useful. And it came out rather quickly, didn't it?
Right. As I mentioned, I was in China for 6 months, and for those of the people who may know me know I'm also a vegan, a vegetarian. And as I was traveling through China, I decided that it would be in my best interest to eat food so that I could survive.
We can understand that.
But what I also found was that a lot of the places I went outside of the big cities like Beijing didn't really cater to vegetarians. So I had to develop, I had to find stores that I could buy my food to eat at. I basically went on a raw food diet for the most part. But then after a while I decided that I did want to cook, but I was staying in little hotels and hostels that didn't have cooking facilities or kitchens. So I ended up figuring out ways to cook my vegetarian meals using one of the coffee pots that they have in a lot of the hotels. So I took pictures of it, I chronicled it on my blog, and eventually came up with the idea of putting it in the form of a how-to guide to show people, hey, this is what I did. If you're also a health fanatic like me and you don't want to eat MSG laden food in the restaurants in China, you can here are some secrets to how you can actually make healthy food using nothing but a hotel coffee pot and a little ingenuity. So it's a fun book, and it's my first attempt at humor.
I must say that the pictures are very appetizing.
Okay.
What is your prognosis on trying to cook meat in a coffee pot? That's my question.
I'm sure it's possible. Unfortunately, this edition is not for the meat center. It has a lot of vegetables, a lot of variety, but it does not have any fishes or baby cows swimming in the coffee pot. No.
All right. Well, congratulations on that. Getting back to our discussion on blogging, how have you seen blogging build our community or change communities at all?
Well, a prime example was back in 2006 when I first landed on Saipan. One of the things that I realized was that there was not a lot of positive press on Saipan on the internet. So I had the idea of starting the WeLoveSaipan.com website, and I launched that. And then with the help of a fellow who was living here at the time named Angelo Villagomez, he started to promote blogging as an aspect of building a community around that whole We Love Saipan concept that I'd started. And that really took off back in those days for people who were around. We had a blog community. We had people who were being introduced to the concept of blogging. We had dozens and dozens of people who started to share what life was like on Saipan, and it really built a community. We had meetings at Java Joe's, I think, a bi-weekly basis. So I was able to see firsthand how a concept as simple as blogging, just sitting down and writing your daily experiences, was able to build and foster a community of people from all walks of life. We have some really cool pictures on the sites from people from different ages, different backgrounds, nationalities, who were all involved in the whole blogging process that developed over during that time. This was between about 2006 and 2007.
Okay, for those who want to take their blogs and develop them into books, or just want to take their writings and develop them into books, you're a strong advocate of self-publishing.
Yes.
And you said that we would share some tips on that.
All right.
How do you self-publish?
Well, here's my big secret, and we have to promise not to tell anyone.
Oh, mum's the word for me.
My big secret, okay. But just between you and me, I use a website called createspace.com. And this was introduced to me by a friend of mine. CreateSpace.com allows you to self-publish your book. And all you really need to do, let's say you finish writing your manuscript in Word, Microsoft Word, let's say, or whatever word processing program you like to use. If you can know how to create a PDF file of your work, that's what they use as the basis of printing your book. So if you know how to create a PDF file for the interior of the book, you can also design your own cover or use their Create Space's functionality to create a cover for yourself, which is what I believe this fellow did. I'm showing Catherine a book here called Our Northern Islands by Dennis Chad. And and here's the cool part about Create Space. They are actually owned by Amazon.com. They're a self-publishing company, a printing company that's owned by Amazon. So the minute your book is ready for publication, it immediately gets featured on the Amazon.com website. And from the moment you click to process your book, within 48 hours, your book can be ready to be sold internationally. So it's a really fascinating process. And if you go to that website, createspace.com, you can basically teach yourself step by step the process, because they have tutorials there that can help you go through. But that in a nutshell, without me actually taking you step by step through the process, if you want to teach yourself, you can go to that website, createspace.com, and learn and discover my secret for how I've been able to publish all my books.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Is that all? I'll be out of time already.
Well, I was going to say, what's so interesting about speaking with you is that even in an everyday conversation is that you always have ideas being generated. There's always something new coming out of the conversation. So hopefully this conversation now has sparked some enthusiasm, some passion among our listeners. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yes, I think what I'd like people to take away from this is that if you dream of affecting the world in some way through your writing, that it is possible. If you dream of having a book that people all over the world can purchase, it is possible. If you have an idea, a concept, a passion that you'd like to write about, it is possible for you to generate income, to have influence, to make a difference in the world simply by your writing. Right now, as I mentioned earlier, I used to be a civil engineer, hated my job, and right now I quit my job many years ago, and I'm a self-sustaining, independent author, and all my books have been self-published. So just in terms of letting people know that it is possible for you to make a career out of writing, with no sort of journalism background. You don't have to go to school to do it. Just simply your passion can take you to that next level of whatever success you envision for yourself.
Thank you, Walt, for your encouraging words today.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for having me.
We've been speaking with Walt Goodridge, author and prophet for passion. And this has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.